What's up, everyone? Here we are with another episode of How We Bounce Back. I'm fortunate to introduce you a rising star and talented hair and makeup artist. She's worked for clientele that includes the Emmys, the Flash Premiere, and a variety of film and TV productions. She is passionate and dedicated to her craft all her life. She is Maddie Sword.
Hey, James. Oh, thank you for that lovely intro. I'm excited to be here.
So for those that are unfamiliar, can you tell us about yourself, what you do, and why you enjoy it?
My name is Maddie. I am a freelance makeup artist based in Los Angeles. I specialize in film and television, beauty, bridal. I kind of do a mix of everything. And I love being able to improve someone's confidence, make them feel happy with what I'm passionate about doing, which is makeup. So I hope to just continue doing that and building really great connections with people and turning clients into my friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've noticed that you've worked on some notable clients recently. I know we mentioned the Emmys, and I also mentioned that you had the client at the Flash Mirror. But you've also, when looking at your portfolio, you've worked on weddings and events of that scale. Both film events and wedding
Yeah.
events, they have high stakes, milestone level occasions. Can you can you describe the
Yeah.
difference, like the feeling for you, your process? Can you describe the difference for you working those two type of events?
With both, I feel like they can be high stress environments for sure because you're under strict time constraints a lot of the time. And you, of course, like with bridal, you have these very intimate one-on-one conversations with whoever is getting married about the look they're envisioning, and it's a very creative process, which I love. With film, it's a little bit different because you have creativity, of course, but it's more so in the direction of what the script says. And
Mhm.
you kind of have to follow that more closely than what you might want to do. So it's kind of just striking a balance between the two. But I really enjoy doing both a lot. I love how with red carpet and bridal, you get like, the full glam type of makeup, which is my favorite to do.
Oh.
And film, it's kind of a mix. You kind of are making people look like people, like just everyday um, people walking around. Sometimes you do a little special effects like bruising and cuts. So it's kind of like you're working different parts of your brain, which is fun. It keeps it interesting.
I've also seen that you worked on colorful designs, Halloween styled makeup, zombies, skeletons. I've seen some
Oh,
butterfly designs on your profile and
yeah.
portfolio. You know, the anime and comic industries have such high demand for this makeup style or even just canvas drawings.
Hmm.
What are some of the
Hmm.
topics, interest styles that you have affinity for as you build your hair and makeup business?
Well, when I was starting out, I was way more into the effects stuff. So, like, I wanted to make gashes and like
Mhm.
bruises and wounds and like, crazy stuff, gross stuff. And, you know, now that I have progressed more in my career, I personally find more joy in doing the beauty style makeup because I feel like people feel good and
Mhm.
confident when they have that, and it's just more like satisfying for me. I have so
Yeah.
much admiration for people that do the effects because it's like a whole other beast. It's a lot of work, and it's kind of like you're doing the opposite of what you would do with beauty, like not making you don't want
Mhm.
a wound to look symmetrical in any way, or like because then it doesn't look realistic, and that type of thing. So I really enjoy beauty style makeup for sure.
I can definitely see the rewards that come with that. All right, well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
actually transition you to some random icebreaker questions.
Okay.
Yeah, totally unrelated to
Okay.
career and whatnot. Nothing too hard.
Great.
But name movies of any time, of any era that you would give the Oscar for best makeup and hairstyling.
I don't know if this did receive one, but The Hunger Games has
Oh,
phenomenal hair and makeup.
uh-huh.
If you could work with tech engineers in Silicon Valley to invent something that would make your job 1,000 times easier, what would that be?
Well, I feel like like a reverse aging machine because everyone that
Ooh.
sits in my chair is like, "Can you make me look 20 years younger?" I'm like, "Sure, let's try." So maybe something like that.
Nice, nice.
All right, Maddie, let's get into the deeper questions. Can you describe a time where you came to a life crossroads and felt pressure from either your parents or peers to go towards a direction you weren't fond of?
I remember in high school, the pressure of picking a college and picking a major was so difficult for me because I would look at all these schools and I just couldn't see myself doing any of them. Like none of them excited me really. Um, and I remember I ended up going to college. I got my bachelor's degree in marketing because I just felt like I had to pick something that was pretty universal, and I felt like that was a safe option. Although don't, I didn't have the desire to work in that field. Um, I was going to school, and I was also working at Mac, the cosmetics store. And I remember talking to one of my friends at the time about I think I was talking about like an exciting opportunity I had at work and or something like that. And I remember her saying to me, "Yeah, but when are you gonna get a real job?"
Mm,
So that really it was really hurtful at the time because I was really excited and passionate about what I do, and it is a real job. But I knew that like in my head I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to prove you wrong because like I know that there are people that are very successful being makeup artists and hairstylists, and I know it's possible. I'm not there yet, but like I knew that I would I would be. And you know, I'm not friends with that person anymore, but that always stuck with me,
mhm,
because I think that people don't look at the career as very serious because it's a very superficial thing, right? Like it's just like, oh, you're putting makeup on someone and making them pretty, but no, it's so much more than that. And I have worked on people that have been in, you know, severe car accidents and their face is somewhat disfigured,
mhm,
or someone who has cancer and they no longer have hair or eyebrows, and being able to use what I know, my expertise, put makeup on them and make them feel like themselves again and make them feel confident and happy. That's why I do what I do. Um, and I think um, it's a lot more than people think, you know? So we um, we do a lot. It's not always a glamorous job, although it can look like that sometimes. But I'm glad that I didn't listen to that advice and think,
mhm,
"Oh yeah, you know, I'll just get a traditional job because that's what, you know, normal people do or whatever." I'm glad that I trusted my own instincts and where my passions lie, because I wouldn't have been able to do all the stuff I've accomplished and I wouldn't be here right now. So I think that my younger self would be really beaming with pride, honestly, that I stuck with it. And it's not always easy. It's really hard like most of the time, um but it's worth it to me. So
You did something that a lot of people can't do at such a young age is, sticking with your instincts and, not going that traditional marketing and corporate route. To be honest, like a hair and makeup artist does more service, and no knock on marketing folks, because I do it too, and I'm in it as well. But like hair and makeup styling, and you're improving someone's self-esteem, their confidence, as you had mentioned, to people that you've worked with in the past. You're genuinely helping people, and I think that's what a big thing is in this world. I don't know if you're not necessarily achieving that being in a marketing role, right? Getting to someone's brand and products and working the machine and driving clicks and impressions. I'm in it right now, so I get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back to my point, you did it. You stuck to your instincts at such a young age, where people sort of tend to go the safer route at that time to
Mm.
get their career started, make some money, make a salary, and then it sometime down the road in their late 20s or early 30s, like myself, takes the leap of faith into something that they're truly passionate about. What was it in you that made you feel like you wanted to stick with like your instincts at such a young age? Like that's really as a testament to the passion and
Mm.
love that you have for your profession, the discipline as well to
Mm.
stay with it. What do you feel like it was during that time?
Like, all you know at that young age is what you see around you, right? And I looked at my parents and I knew they weren't happy with what they're doing. And I knew that I I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to be stuck in something and feel like limited in my options. And I feel like a big reason I went to college was because they put a lot of pressure on me to get a degree, and I don't regret it, at all. I'm glad that I went. I think that it has taught me a lot of things that, um, I'm not necessarily doing a marketing job, but I'm applying some of the things that I have learned,
Hmm.
and you always take that knowledge with you.
For sure.
So, I think that I'm a very passionate person, and when I really love something, that's, like, all I wanna do, and so I guess I was just kind of delusional about it, I was like, "This is what I want, and this is what I'm gonna do," and that was it,
Yeah.
and I've definitely had um, times where I am like, oh, this is just way too stressful. Maybe I should just go and try and find a marketing job or a job in the business field, have something stable, something steady. But I know I have done that where I have reverted back to um, going alternate routes and not being happy. So um,
Hmm.
for me, it's just one of those things that it's my love for it surpasses wanting stability, I guess. So,
Yeah.
and even if it's not stable all the time, I think eventually over time, um, you get more stable with the more I mean, I just moved out here like a year ago. So, kind of restarting in a way and getting my footing, whereas I had more of an established presence on the East Coast because I knew more people. That's where I grew up. So, kind of starting from scratch has been quite a journey, but I wouldn't trade it.
You've kind of hinted at it, and maybe if you're okay to elaborate on more, have you ever felt depressed at work? Or what would the person you are
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
tell that person
Yep.
you were before?
So I moved here a little over a year. Um, and I moved amidst the writer strike. So basically, the worst time to move here is when I moved. And there wasn't a whole lot of work. And so I had to go an alternate route and I needed money. I can't just sit at home and like eat away at my savings because that was not working for me. So I ended up getting a retail job.
Mm.
And I have worked retail my entire life. Like from high school, like I worked at um, you're not going to know this store probably, but the store Delia's, it was like a
No.
clothing store. Well, it doesn't exist anymore, but
Oh.
I worked there and I worked at Mac for 7 years. Like in my mind, I was like, okay, I've done my time with retail. I'm all set. I don't want to do it anymore. I have graduated from retail. I'm on to bigger and better. And so, looking at what I had available to me, I had limited connections because I just moved here. I There was a writer strike. There's not a whole lot of work. Um, I had to kind of revert back to what I knew, which is retail. And it's kind of one of those disposable jobs, like kind of like a serving job or something of that nature, where you can just kind of come and go and set your own schedule. It's not like a traditional 9 to 5 situation. So I thought, okay, I can do this on the side and build up my portfolio, build up my connections with people, like continue networking and all that. But I was really sad that I had to go back to, I felt like I was moving backwards, essentially.
Mhm.
And that's not why I moved out here. But um, I would be driving to work every day. And when I tell you I hated this job so much
Mhm.
for a multitude of reasons, I would cry every time I was driving to work because it was
Right.
just like painful for me.
Yeah.
So I remember one day, this is like funny, but not. I was driving to work and I was having like a meltdown in the car. Like it was like a performance. Like I was sobbing. I'm like banging my head against the steering wheel, like on
Oh,
my drive
man.
to work.
No.
Like it was, yeah, it was like so theatrical almost. And I remember going into work and one of my coworkers was asked, she was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I just kind of like walked away, brushed it off. And I thought, oh, maybe my eyes are kind of red or something. And then later on in the break room, she had mentioned, "Oh, like, do you drive this car?" Like, and she like named the kind of car I drive, and I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, I saw you driving into work today." And like and I
Oh,
was like, "Oh
no.
my God, she probably literally saw my
At
like
the traffic light.
meltdown crying performance
Yeah.
on the way to work." So that was, yeah, that was horrifying. But yeah, no, I've definitely been depressed. And you know, I think that current me would tell that person, treat it like it's temporary, because at the end of the day, everything's temporary. Just because you decide to do this right now, you're not locked into that decision forever. And you can always leave. Retail will always be there.
Mhm.
So I think having that mindset is super helpful when you're struggling through those hard times, because sometimes you really like get so down that you're like, this is the end all be all. I'm always going to be stuck here. And that's just not the case. So I'm not at that job anymore, thankfully. But yeah, I have definitely felt that, and it is not fun, but
Yeah.
you will come out on the other side. So you just have to just keep persevering through. But yeah, it is not easy.
I feel like I'm going through a similar situation right now where you're in a job that you feel like it needs to be there to pay the bills or something stable and
Yeah.
whatnot. In this instance, you're doing a service job in retail, which is always high demand, on your feet, dealing with a lot of annoyances, which I probably don't have to list. But yeah, it's really, it shows how much grit you have to like make sure that you're still getting the income, still, working, still making sure that this journey that you're on being in LA doesn't just fold and, make a U-turn to go back
Mhm.
where you grown up. And yeah, it does feel like taking step backs. I've had the Uber drive before. Like I had to like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like there's no other option. And then glad that there was something that can pay money. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
depressing because it's like, oh, I went out all the way to live in all my dreams in LA, but now I'm, you're working retail or I'm doing Uber driving. It just feels like soulless at some time. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but, I look at it as, okay, I'm not meeting people sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
it's better than that, and everyone is kind of somewhat related to the entertainment industry out here too. So, like, I would be meeting models and actors and singers and dancers all the time, and you are able to network with them, and even as an
Yeah.
Uber driver, you start conversing with them, you get to know, like, more about them, what they're doing. Hey, here's my card. Like, it does work to your advantage a little bit too. Just the even if it's for the sole purpose of networking and getting your name out to other people, because I
Yeah.
actually did get clients from that retail job. So
Wow.
it's not for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, the hustle's there. You don't, like you say, you don't meet anyone sitting on the couch. You don't make money sitting on your couch unless,
Yes.
obviously you do stocks or crypto, but that's not gonna, give the biweekly returns or, in terms of bringing you stable income. So that, I mean, it
Yeah.
really shows that every path that you take on this journey serves the purpose, no matter how deep in the hole that we feel. And maybe we do, and I think you do somewhat look back on that experience a bit fondly, and you will as you start growing, like, okay, there's times that we were, back up against the wall or felt like we were not going in the right direction. That actually was a needed piece during this
Yes.
path to get to where we
Exactly.
need to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do you manage stress at work and or with difficult clients, even crew members, even crazy first ADs? do you develop way do you develop ways to lessen the effect of that stressful situation the next time it comes around?
All the time I deal with stressful situations, because a lot of there's a lot of unpredictable situations that come up with the work that we do, freelancing, doing film. And I had this really important gig that someone referred me to. And at the time, it was the most noteworthy job that I had done. And I was doing both hair and makeup for it. And I was not prepared. I thought that I was, but I was under the impression that the these ladies would be there with dry hair and it's like kind of already styled, and I would just be doing touch ups on it. And I arrive and her hair is soaking wet, and I did not bring a hair dryer with me. So
Mhm.
it was we were filming in someone's home, and I reached out to the homeowner and I was like, "Is there a hair dryer anywhere in this house?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll go look." And I'm looking in every cabinet in this home, like I'm going up and down the stairs, rustling through the bathroom, and like I'm in every nook and cranny trying to find a hair dryer. There was
Yeah.
no hair dryer,
Oh, no.
and they had to be ready in an hour. I had an hour for hair and makeup. And so in those situations, like, you have to think quickly if you're not prepared, it's horrible. But I ended up um opening all the windows. It was kind of a windy day, so I was trying to like let the hair air dry through the window, and I thought, okay, let me do her makeup first and maybe her hair will dry a little bit throughout the process. So I'm like doing her hair and then I move on. I mean, I'm doing her makeup and then I move on to someone else's makeup, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to do the hair last. That's just my method." So just like, playing it off, everything's fine.
What a
You
way to
can't ever let
improvise.
them yeah, you
Yeah.
can't ever let them see you sweat or that you're nervous, because then they're nervous.
Mhm.
So basically, you have to remain very calm and like everything's fine, even though inside it's really not fine. So I ended up moving on to the makeup, I occupied myself with those other tasks. Then by the time I got to the hair, it was in a state where it was dry enough where I could go through with like a hot tool and it was okay. But yes, dealing with those stressful situations, they are bound to come up, but now I am prepared every time. Like
Mhm.
if I if I go through a situation like that, I'm like, okay, next time I'm bringing this. And I keep kind of adding to my kit, like, oh, that would be a really good thing to have. I'm going to throw that in there. So I have everything from like mouthwash to band aids to tape to lint rollers, like all these other random
Yeah.
items that you need to have because you just never know what situations are going to arise. So I
Mhm.
think just thinking on your feet, trying to remain calm, it can be really stressful, but just trying to make sure no one else feels that way and get through the day.
Mhm. Yeah. That's really good that you stay composed during that. I I'm sure you've seen on set like directors and ADs like probably secretly freaking out as well. They don't but you're right. You don't want that to reflect on your clients or whoever that you're working with cuz them
Mhm.
freaking out could even make you freak out even more. So
Yeah,
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 that's
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's the go just preparedness, having everything that I already been through that situation, so I don't want to go through it again. I'm gonna make sure that we have all of
Yeah.
the equipment ready for and you mentioned like lint rollers and stuff. You're It's kind of helping out other departments as well with the wardrobe folks or first
Yeah,
aid.
I
Like you're
mean,
helping out the AD right there. Look at
yeah.
you.
Even if you're not doing hair, like I'm bringing hairspray and bobby pins, because like,
Yeah.
there's always situations where someone forgets something or, you need extra. And it's just good to have so that you are just able to contribute and be um, helpful. I mean, it's a lot we're carrying a lot of stuff. So trying to limit it and kind of condense it down can be hard, but I'd rather just make a few trips than not have something.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What is your favorite moment in your career to date? Any shout outs to the people that have helped get you there?
So actually, it was a couple months ago. I did a commercial with Anna Faris.
Mm.
I assisted the makeup uh, with a wonderful, wonderful makeup artist. Her name is Jill Katie. She is amazing. She did kind of like the face makeup, and I helped with some of the body makeup, which was really cool. And basically, I met Jill because I stayed at her Airbnb like in 2018 when I was visiting LA with Jake, and we were trying to get a feel for some of the neighborhoods and things like that. And I toured like a couple makeup schools, and she was asking me what we were doing out there, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh, I'm a makeup artist. I've been in the industry for like 30 years and I do print and film and red carpet and work with celebrities." And so we connected. And then I didn't move here till 2022. So I didn't talk to her for like 5 years. Is that five? I don't know,
Oh,
a few
about.
years.
Yeah.
And I didn't think she would remember me, but I was like, because I was, having one of those days where I was just feeling down, and I'm like, I need to like start meeting people and networking, and who do I reach out to? And I remember her being so nice and warm, and she even was like, "Oh, stay in touch." So, like all these years later, I sent her a message, and I'm like, she's not going to answer this. She's not going to remember me. But you kind of have to get used to that rejection when,
Mhm.
when I'm like cold emailing, getting no response, getting no, like, you just have to get used to that. So I sent the message, and she responded like almost right away. And we were on the phone within like 5 minutes. And so
Wow.
now I assist her a lot, and she's
Wow.
really taken me under her wing and helped me in so many ways. And this was honestly the coolest job I had ever done. It was so awesome. And Anna was so nice. It was like a dream come true. I never
Wow.
thought that I'd be there.
Wow. What projects for events that she went to, or any film projects or TV that she?
Yeah, she kind of like a mix. But she works on the show The Neighborhood, and she has a lot of celebrity clientele as well. So I just kind of help her whenever she needs me, essentially.
That's amazing.
Um yeah, but it was really cool.
Well, Maddie, there's always a last mandatory question on the podcast. I think you know it's coming.
Okay.
If there's one piece of advice you could share with the audience, what would that be?
I read this quote, and it's like a 6 word memoir, and it was actually written by this girl who's like in 7th grade, and she's brilliant, and her name is Stephanie Shen. um and it's brave birds still fly through fog, and I love that
I love that.
because for me it's like you keep going even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And like, if I had stopped believing in myself, persisting, I wouldn't have done all these things that I've done and been able to accomplish the things that I have. And trusting your instincts, even though you feel like you don't know what's going to happen, and just kind of being okay with not knowing what the future holds. I think that I think about that a lot, and I want to be like so in control of everything all the time. But being okay with the unknown, being okay with not knowing, and just persisting in your journey. Essentially, I recently found out that one of the things that I worked on made it to a billboard in Times Square, and that was
Wow.
something that
I saw
was
that.
on my vision board.
That's amazing.
And it's like, yeah, it's just something that I kept thinking about and trying to, you think that you have a plan for how everything's going to work out, and then this thing kind of just happened randomly, and like I wasn't expecting it. So, yeah, I think just persisting, keep going. Don't let the opinions of others deter you from going after what you really want, because if I had listened to all these people that said that makeup wasn't a career, or just all of those negative thoughts, I wouldn't have ever done anything. I'd still, you know, be in retail somewhere. So, yeah, I think that quote really has stuck with me, and I think it's so meaningful.
Awesome. That was amazing. Well, thank you so much, Maddie, for joining us on the podcast. I wish you all the best in your career and all the work you put forth in the world. As a film director, I believe that hair and makeup artists are the true heroes on set and really bring perfection to what's on the screen. Clearly, you're already killing it now, and I have no doubt you'll continue elevating to great opportunities down the road. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh, well, thank you, James. Thank you for having me. This was great.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. How We Bounce Back season 3 continues next week, Wednesday. Another new episode of Marita Delara, a talented career actress in film and television. Stay safe, stay healthy as always. She's Maddie. I'm James. See you all next week.